Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into something pretty dark. It's one of the most challenging philosophical ideas I've ever come across. The basic idea, human consciousness, that makes us so special, might actually be a huge evolutionary mistake.
Okay, to get us started, let's look at a quote from the philosopher at the heart of all of this, a guy named Peter Wessel Zapffe. And wow, does this set a chilling stage. He says the moment our consciousness woke up, it didn't just see the world, it saw the terror of its own existence within that world. So to really wrap our heads around Zapfe's big idea about our own minds, we got to start with a story from the natural world. It's a parable, really, about this incredible but ultimately doomed creature. All right, meet the Irish elk. And when I say giant, I mean it. This thing was a true behemoth of the ancient world. We're talking 7 feet tall at the shoulder. But its most jaw-dropping feature? That massive crown of antlers, which could stretch an unbelievable 12 feet across. And this is where the tragic irony kicks in. You see, for ages, those massive antlers were the key to survival. They were a weapon, a status symbol for mating, the whole deal. But it's like evolution just didn't know when to quit. The antlers became this massive overinvestment, a fatal flaw that tipped the scales from being a tool for survival to being a crushing burden.
So this timeline really lays out a classic evolutionary tragedy. The very thing that made the elk so dominant, those gigantic antlers, eventually became an impossible weight to carry. I mean, they were so heavy it couldn't even move through the forest properly to get away from predators, and they demanded so much nutrition that the rest of its body just couldn't keep up. The poor thing was armed too heavily for its own good, and yeah, that flaw led it straight to extinction.
And this is where it all comes together. This is the core of the whole theory. Zapffe argued that the elk story, it's not just some sad little footnote in a biology textbook. No, he believed it's a perfect parable for us, for our own condition.
Right. So this is the central analogy right here. Just like the elk's antlers got way too big for their own good, Zapffe believed our consciousness, our incredible intellect, has become our overgrown, burdensome set of antlers. It's a tool that has just tragically, completely overshot its purpose.
Think about it like this. Our minds evolved for practical stuff, right? To help us hunt, build things, work together. But they didn't stop there. They just kept on growing until they let us see things we were maybe never meant to see. The chaos of the universe, the fact that we're all going to die, our own total insignificance in the grand scheme of things. Suddenly, our awareness itself became the problem.
And Zapffe, man, he captured this perfectly. He said, our intellect is like this powerful weapon, a two-edged sword. And the thing is, to even wield it, you have to grab the blade itself, which means you can't help but turn one of those sharp edges right back on yourself, just slicing into your own peace of mind.
So this brings up a huge, obvious question. It's a question that really haunted Zapffe. If our consciousness is such a terrible curse, then why are we still here? How is that possible? Why haven't we, as a species, just collapsed under the sheer weight of it all?
Well, his answer was pretty brilliant, and also incredibly bleak. He basically argued that we survive because we've developed these super sophisticated psychological tricks to, in a way, trim our own antlers. And he pinpointed 4 main ways we do this. 4 defense mechanisms that we all use to artificially limit what we're aware of, basically to keep the full horrifying truth from getting too close. Okay, let's break these down. First up is isolation. This is just simple denial, right? We all just kind of agree not to talk about the really big, scary stuff like death at a dinner party. Then you've got anchoring. This is where we grab onto big, solid ideas like God, or our country, or morality, or even the future to give us a sense of stability in a chaotic world. Third is distraction, and this one's probably the most common. We just fill every waking moment with stuff, hobbies, work, binge-watching shows, anything to keep our minds busy and away from those darker thoughts. And last, there's sublimation. This is the rarest one, but also the most complex. It's when we take all that existential pain and transform it into something beautiful, like art or music or, well, philosophy.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the catch. Zapffe didn't see these as healthy ways to cope. Not at all. He saw them as a kind of self-mutilation, a deep form of self-delusion. It's like, if an elk were constantly filing down its antlers, it would be denying its own nature. And that's what he thinks we do. We deny our full consciousness just to make it through the day. We survive, sure, but the cost is that we're never fully, well, us.
And all of this leads us to the grim, beating heart of Zapffe's philosophy. It puts us face to face with what feels like a totally impossible choice.
He was convinced that if we ever actually stopped distracting ourselves, if we truly 100% embraced the reality our consciousness shows us, we'd see how utterly futile everything is. And the only logical conclusion, in his mind, would be for humanity to just stop. To stop having children and quietly fade away.
So we're stuck. We're caught in this impossible bind. You can see it here. We've got two incredibly powerful and totally opposing forces pulling at us with pretty much equal strength. On the one hand, you have that deep animal instinct, the biological drive to just live and keep going. But on the other hand, you have this conscious awareness that sees a reality where, well, continuing seems kind of pointless and tragic. And these two forces, they're just constantly at war inside every single one of us. Which forces us to ask the big question, right? Is that really it? Are those our only options? Self-deception on one side or self-extinction on the other? Is there really no way out? No third path? Well, maybe there is. Maybe there's a third path, one that isn't about getting rid of our antlers, but about learning how to carry them. And funnily enough, it's an idea that Zapffe himself, through the way he lived his own incredible life, seems to have pointed towards.
What if the alternative is something really radical? What if, instead of constantly running away from our own consciousness, we could just turn and face it? What if we stopped trying to escape its weight and instead focused all our energy on becoming strong enough to actually bear it?
So what does that even look like, in the real world? Well, it means letting go of our need for easy answers and neat resolutions. It means overcoming that desperate search for some ultimate purpose, some grand cosmic redemption. It means welcoming our situation for what it is, in all its messy, complicated glory. And maybe it means finding a weird kind of peace, not in reaching some destination, but in just embracing the aimless journey itself.
And you know what's so fascinating? Zappa's own life kind of points to this. This guy was a famous mountaineer, always climbing new, unconquered peaks. He was a philosopher, always forging new, difficult ideas. He didn't run from the tragic reality he wrote about. He stared it right in the face, and through action, through creation, he found a way to rise above it. And this leads to a really powerful idea, I think. That survival isn't just about lying to ourselves. Survival is the precondition for evolution. By making the choice to keep going, as individuals and as a species, we give ourselves the chance to grow, to adapt, and to learn how to get better at carrying this immense weight of being self-aware. And that really leaves us with one last big provocative thought. Maybe this thing we see as our greatest evolutionary burden, our consciousness, doesn't have to be a fatal flaw after all. What if we could learn to carry that weight with so much strength, so much grace, that it stops being a burden and transforms into a crown?